Okay, so now you are in the air. So if you want to just kind of fly around, do your own thing, easy peasy, not a whole lot to teach here for that. You know, if you want to lose some altitude, then I would recommend key 6, that's the hover, although you usually lose altitude while you use it. So if you want to fly around airport, shouldn't be too hard to figure out, and there's not a whole lot for me to teach for that. But if you want to go to a certain place, then there's a little something I have to show you. Say I want to go to Bloomington up top or top left on the nav. I might turn that general heading, and yeah, it looks about right. So now what I want to do is kind of level out the helicopter's nose using the artificial horizon right in front of me. Looks about right. Make sure I'm not on too high of a power setting. I'll switch to 7 for now. Actually, we'll put it on 8. Okay, we are on 8. You want to keep your nose just below there. It'll help you keep some speed. And what we're going to do is going to add a little bit of elevator trim. Now, how you use that is the home and end keys. Home is going to make your elevator trim go up, which is going to make you go more upwards. Now on mouse, you might actually just be able to do your own thing and pretty much get it nice and fine-tuned. I kind of have it doing that right now, but if you want to set it on like autopilot, so to speak, you're going to want to use trim. So I'll just keep my mouse right about here for now. Just make sure we are heading straight. And then if I hit home a little bit, or actually I want to hit end, that's going to lower my trim. It's going to help me keep a lower nose. So all I want to do right now, honestly, just switch the keyboard and then just use your trim. A little much trim there, a little more, a little less. We want to trim down a little bit. Almost. A little more down. Oop. Delete is the neutral trim. So if you want to get rid of all your trim, you're going to hit. Uh-oh. Hold on here. Let's just go back to where we were. Right there. So, like I was saying, delete. Okay. It can be very hard to get this down correctly. I haven't gotten it down completely myself, but if you switch the keyboard, then that should help. Once you're level, switch the keyboard. Sometimes it'll just flip the helicopter over. I'm not too sure why, to be honest. I'm not a helicopter professional, so I wouldn't really know the answer to that, but I do know if you use keyboard, it's easier to set your trim. But your trim, again, is home and end on your keyboard. So if I want to get my nose a little bit more up, I'm going to use home. If I want to get a little more down, I'm going to hit end, which I want to hit end right now. And if you look at my controls, you can see it move a tiny, tiny bit back. I want to use end. Or forwards. Excuse me. That's very, very slow, much slower than it would be on keyboard. So I'm just going to use the left and right arrow keys on keyboard for now to keep me more or less level. And I'm going to use home and end once I'm somewhat stable. Looks like it's got me in a pretty good spot right now. I'm just going to tap end one more time. And that seems to do it. Now, let's see, are we on a course? We are not. But as long as we just use arrow keys, it should keep us in pretty much the right pitch. Just a very gentle tap on the arrow keys. Left and right arrow keys. You don't want to use the up and down if you don't have to. The home and end, your trim, is just for fine tuning, fine tuning. so that you can put autopilot on aircraft that don't really have autopilot. Like Cessna 172, I know some of them are equipped with autopilot, some aren't. You can add autopilot to most of them, if not all of them. But if you don't want to use autopilot, maybe make it seem slightly more realistic, then you would use trim. And trim just helps you maintain the right course. So you can see my trim seems to be keeping me in the same spot. I'm not using mouse right now, just the arrow keys going left and right. My mouse isn't doing anything at all. It's just my trim and my left and right arrow keys. You can see I'm maintaining my altitude. I am descending a tad bit, so I might want to increase my throttle. What am I on right now? 8. I might increase it to 9. Help prevent me from losing that. And that seems to do the trick. If you want to be very precise with it, you can use page up, page down. And let's see, let's watch our altitude. That doesn't look right. There we go. Let's look at the wrong thing. Okay, so we're losing altitude again. So what we might want to do is just hit home a couple times, and then 2 times to balance it out again. And as long as we maintain our altitude, or our pitch, then that should be a good setting for your trim. I don't know if helicopters are equipped with trim in real life, to be honest, but I know it's very helpful. It looks like our altimeter is not moving hardly at all. So that's pretty good. Now all we have to really worry about is our pitch, or rotation, excuse me, not pitch. Pitch is forward and back, not rotation, it's roll, excuse me. Roll is left to right, and then yaw is, that would be what you would theoretically use rudder for if rudder really did anything in the air for you. It does do stuff in the air in GeoFS. In real life, you don't really use rudder a whole lot for just turning. Well, you don't use it at all for turning, but you're not going to really use rudder too much for turning. You would use it maybe a little bit with your ailerons, but other than that, not a whole lot. Anyway, looks like we're almost at 130 knots, cruising right along here, maintaining altitude. And yeah, things are going pretty smooth so far. So I will go ahead and do a little speed run through this, and then the next video will be a landing tutorial on the helicopter. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See ya. So, as you can now see, I am starting to descend because of these clouds. I want to be able to see the airport when I'm coming in. I don't want to be going in blind. So I lowered my power to 7 and I'm descending, but I do need to watch my trim some more. I don't want to be too low and I don't want to be too high. Looks like I might be sinking a tad bit here, so I'm going to give home a tap once, see if that helps. I'm in the clouds now, and I'm going to tap home a couple more times here. We're getting pretty low. There we go. Alright. So, I want to give home a couple more taps as well, because I don't want us descending. I'll put us on 9, and hit end some to get us some lower trim. because we don't want to be, uh-oh, now we're going up into the clouds. Now we're going down. Just keep a very steady eye on that altimeter, because we are not high above the ground. We are maybe, let's see, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, we're about 600 feet off the ground. Not horrible for a helicopter, but we definitely don't want to get too much lower. So I'm going to keep us on power 9 and keep watching my trim for sure. Nose is looking pretty good right now. I do want to keep it on about 2.5 pitch, no more. Other than that, we're flying pretty steady right now. That's our airport, so we're almost there. We want to maintain our current altitude. Once we close in a little more on the airport, then we will definitely lose a little more altitude. But for now, we're flying at a pretty good altitude where we can see the ground. It's a little foggy, but once we get a little lower, it will get less foggy. We're still in the clouds right now, looking for poppy lights. There they are. There's our lights. They're hard to make out in this fog, but they're up there. So that's what we're aiming for. Trying to get to those. Looks like we need to go a little bit left. So I'm just gonna give a tap on the left key. Nothing too much, or else it'll freak out. And just let the aircraft slowly turn. Looks almost good. That's probably good. So we'll stay here. And now what I'm going to do is pull up a tad bit to slow us down a little bit. Looks like we're going at about just a little tiny bit under 130. So I'm going to make sure we're still level. Looks pretty good there. And I'm going to give us a couple taps on the home button on the keyboard. And that should bring our nose up a little bit. Looks like we need a little more. Looking a little better. Slowed down a tiny bit. Turn a little to the right. I would highly recommend flying helicopters in GeoFS, even if you're more of a plane guy, because I know I sure am. I'm much more into commercial jets and general aviation, turboprops and whatnot. But flying helicopters is just really something about it's really satisfying, and definitely highly recommend it to everyone. So I'm going to turn a little more to the right. Coming up on the airport for sure, getting much closer. We do need to slow down a tad bit, so I think I'll switch, or no, actually I'll just push on home a tad bit. That should slow us down. Got us almost even with the horizon. Almost there. There we go. And give a couple taps to end to get our pitch just a tad bit down so that we don't overcorrect here. Looks like we do need to go a little more up, so we're going to go up with the home key. Pitch up a little bit. Almost. You can see we're slowing down a little bit. Uh-oh. I think I just hit delete. Yep, I definitely hit delete. We went a little out of control. Thank goodness I caught that. Alright, so now that we get here, you can actually probably hit delete. And then you're going to want to switch over your mouse, and the next tutorial will show you how to land. Hope you guys enjoy. See you later.